The rain had been falling on the colony world of Orpheon, 7 for 3 days straight. Not the gentle kind of rain either. This was thick, gray, suffocating rain that turned the red dust roads into rivers of mud and made every building creak under the pressure of the storm. I had been repairing the outer solar arrays when the alert came through. Unknown life form detected near perimeter fence. Normally, that meant a scavenger beast or one of the bone wolves that roamed the desert plains. Nothing unusual. But when I checked the scanner, the signal looked wrong. Too small to be an animal. Too irregular to be a drone. So I grabbed my jacket, slung my plasma cutter over my shoulder, and headed toward the fence line. The wind was brutal outside. It howled across the empty plains and rattled the metal towers like skeletons. The perimeter lights flickered through the rain. That's when I saw her. A little girl, standing alone in the mud. She couldn't have been older than 8. At first I thought she was human, maybe a lost child from one of the research stations beyond the ridge. But then the lightning flashed, and her eyes glowed silver. Not glowing like a flashlight. More like liquid metal reflecting the storm. My hand froze halfway to my communicator. She tilted her head at me curiously. Not scared. Just studying me. You shouldn't be out here, I said slowly, walking closer. The girl wore a thin, pale dress that shimmered slightly in the rain. The fabric looked like something grown rather than woven. Her black hair hung to her shoulders, completely untouched by the wind. Then she spoke. Her voice was quiet and melodic. Mother, he's the one. I frowned. Mother? The girl wasn't looking at me anymore. She was looking at the sky. And that's when the clouds moved. Not naturally. They parted like curtains. A massive shadow descended through the storm. At first I thought it was a ship. But ships have engines. This thing floated. It looked like a living crescent moon made of polished obsidian. No thrusters. No lights. Just silent gravity. The ground trembled as it hovered above the colony. My communicator exploded with panic. Unknown craft entering atmosphere. All personnel evacuate. Defense systems offline. The girl calmly reached out and took my hand. Her skin was warm. Strangely comforting. Don't worry, she whispered. She won't harm you. The air above us shimmered. And then she appeared. At first I thought she was another child. But when she stepped out of the light, I realized she was something entirely different. She was tall, graceful, otherworldly. Her skin had the same faint silver glow as the girl's eyes. Long white hair flowed down her back like falling snow. And behind her, something moved. Not wings exactly. More like translucent energy ribbons drifting through the air. She looked at me with an expression that felt ancient. Then the little girl squeezed my hand. Mother, she whispered again. He's the one. The woman studied me silently. I suddenly felt like every secret I'd ever had was being peeled open and examined. Finally, she spoke. You do not fear us. I shrugged nervously. Honestly, I'm still deciding. For the first time, she smiled. It was small, but genuine. My daughter rarely chooses incorrectly. I blinked. Chooses. The girl nodded eagerly. You're kind. I looked around the empty storm field. You figured that out in 10 seconds? She pointed toward the colony wall. You didn't bring a weapon. I glanced at the plasma cutter on my belt. That's technically a tool. Her mother stepped closer. The rain stopped touching her before it reached her skin, as if reality itself refused to disturb her. You are human, she said thoughtfully. Your species is young. Yeah, I said. We get that a lot. She looked up at the colony buildings. Inside, I knew dozens of terrified scientists were watching this encounter through surveillance cameras. You fear invasion, she said calmly. That's Usually what giant alien ships mean. Her daughter tugged my sleeve. You saved the little metal bird yesterday. I stared at her. You saw that? She nodded. The little metal bird. A broken maintenance drone. I'd spent half my lunch break fixing its wing motor so it could fly again. The alien woman tilted her head. You repair fragile things instead of discarding them. That matters, she said softly. I scratched my head. Okay, I'm missing something here. The girl looked up at her mother. He's the one, she repeated. Her mother nodded slowly. Yes. She turned to me. My daughter is what your people might call the seer. Great, I muttered. That sounds important. She can perceive threads of future possibility. That made me pause. You mean she can see the future? Not exactly. Her eyes met mine. She sees who matters in it. The wind died completely. Even the storm clouds seemed to hold their breath. You matter, she said. I laughed nervously. I'm a solar technician. Her daughter shook her head. You're the one who will stop the war. The word hit me like a hammer. War. The alien woman turned toward the sky. Far above, faint lights moved beyond the clouds. Ships. Hundreds of them. My stomach dropped. There are others coming, she said. Races far older than humanity. And they have already decided your species is expendable. My voice cracked. Expendable. Your world sits at a strategic intersection of hyperspace routes. She looked back at me. Some believe removing humanity now would simplify the future. My throat went dry. And you? She glanced at her daughter. My daughter saw something different. The girl smiled at me. You help everyone become friends. I blinked. That's optimistic. Her mother nodded. Yet every timeline she sees where peace survives. Her silver eyes locked onto mine. You are present. Silence fell across the field. I suddenly understood something terrifying. You came here for me? Yes. I laughed again. Louder this time. That's insane. Her daughter squeezed my hand. You don't know yet. Know what? She looked toward the sky again. The distant ships were growing brighter. Closer. That you're brave. My communicator screamed. Multiple hostile signatures entering orbit. Defense alarms wailed across the colony. I looked up helplessly. So, what exactly am I supposed to do? The alien woman stepped closer. Her presence felt like standing next to a star. You must speak. Speak. To them. I pointed at the sky. The Armada? Yes. I stared at her. Why would they listen to me? Her daughter smiled again. Because you won't threaten them. The alien woman raised her hand. Above us, the massive obsidian craft hummed to life. A beam of light shot upward through the storm, straight into orbit. You will have one opportunity, she said. One chance to convince them humanity deserves to exist. I swallowed. And if I fail? She didn't answer, but her daughter did. Then everything burns. Minutes later, I was standing inside the alien ship. The walls looked alive. Soft glowing patterns pulsed like breathing. A circular platform rose beneath my feet. Above me, a projection of space appeared. Hundreds of alien vessels surrounded Earth's orbit. Some looked mechanical. Others looked like living organisms. One looked like a gigantic crystal spider. My knees felt weak. You're seriously sending me to talk to them? The alien woman stood beside the platform. You will represent humanity. I'm not qualified. Her daughter tugged my sleeve again. You fix the bird. I sighed. That's becoming a theme. The platform lifted. Suddenly, I was floating in a sphere of light, and every ship in orbit turned toward me. 1,000 alien minds focused on one human technician. A deep voice echoed across the void. Human representative detected. You may speak. My brain froze. What do you say to an interstellar tribunal deciding whether your species should be erased? I thought about Earth, about rain, about stupid little maintenance drones, about people. Flawed, messy, but trying. I took a deep breath. We're not perfect, I said, but we're learning. The alien fleets remained silent. We fight. We argue. We break things. I shrugged. But we also fix them. I told them about cities rebuilt after disasters, about enemies becoming allies, about people risking everything to save strangers. Then I said the only thing that felt honest. If the universe gives us time, we might become something worth knowing. Silence. The stars waited. Then a new voice spoke. Cold. Ancient. Probability of human maturity. 2.3%. Another voice answered. Yet potential growth rate exceeds projections. The debate continued across dozens of alien languages. Finally, the largest ship moved forward. A colossal living structure shaped like a ring of light. Human technician, the voice said. You have convinced us of one thing. My heart pounded. What's that? That your species deserves a chance. The armada began to turn away. Jump drives ignited like distant suns. Within seconds, the sky was empty. The alien girl hugged me. You did it. Her mother watched the fading stars quietly. The future has changed. I exhaled shakily. I just talked. She shook her head. You reminded the universe what humanity might become. The girl smiled up at me. I told you. Then she whispered softly. Mother, he really was the one. And for the first time in my life, I believed it.